and welcome. This is the Golden Bee Revolution TV show coming to you from Star TV. I am Lamin B. Barra. We are continuing with our topic, Youths in the Lead. And today we have a youth councillor from Masakonko, and we also have an author and a poet. We have a lady and a gentleman. You are welcome to Golden Bee Revolution.
Thank you.
And we have Rohi Fofana and Karim Y. Dabo. Rohi is a poet and is an author. She wrote a book and launched it in the Gambia here not long ago. And Karim is the youth councillor of Mansakonko Area Council. Starting with you, Rohi, we want to know, as our culture is always been, who is Rohi Fofana? The viewers want to know who are you first before we go into anything.
Thank you so much, Mr. Barra. Good afternoon, viewers. My name is Rohi Fofana. I am an author and a poet. I'm also a development worker and community mobilizer and social volunteer. I'm so passionate about community work and bringing positive impact and changes in the lives of people and communities as well. I am currently working with the International Trade Center, and our programs are focused on creating employment opportunities and also empowering youths and women to help them to improve on their lives and livelihoods.
Great, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. You are doing good in the country. That's inspiring. And to you, Mr. Dabo, who is Karim Y. Dabo?
Thank you so much. First, I want to thank you for this privilege of being here.
You're welcome.
Thank my colleague, my fellow panelists, Rohi, for the first time we're meeting each other, and the audience for having their time to listen to us. As you asked, my name is Karim Y. Dabo. I am originally from Jara, Bureng, a small village in LRR. That's where I've done my schooling. Primary school, junior school, and I went to Armitage, and from Armitage I went to the Gambia College, where I studied HTC to be a professional trained teacher, and completed in 2011. And I went to my village in Bureng to teach there, from there to Kiang, Quinella, and you have a long story. I have a 10 years teaching experience. And in 2018 June, there was this position for a youth councillor, where young people will have the right, the time to select their own representative, and I went in for it. And I'm currently the youth councillor at Masakongo Area Council. But also professionally, after my BSc at the University of the Gambia, where I studied biology and environmental science, I'm currently working with the Gambia Environment Agency, NEA, as a senior program assistant. Okay. So this is me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dabo. Viewers, you see, we have magnificent people here in the studio today. I'm so glad I learn a little from you, Mr. Dabo. Over to you, Rohi. You've authored a book, and Finding of a Lost Soul. Though the book is not new, but we will still like to know, you still want to know more about the book that is Finding the Lost Heart.
As a writer, I believe in shedding light on important issues, societal problems, and also inspiring people through related issues, most especially in connection to youth and women. So when we talk about finding of a lost heart, it's actually a story revolving around a young woman who has faced challenges when it comes to making decisions with regards to marriage. And the book also portrays single parenthood and strengths our mothers or single mothers out there do portray in grooming their child and taking up to a stage wherein they become instrumental people in society. It also reflects education, which is quite fundamental, and I believe the book is just reflects some of the contemporary realities of our Gambian society. It could reflect someone's story. I mean, you could read the book and you feel like, okay,
see yourself in
the book. And I believe this is just the beginning of many other writers that I'm planning to do, because I want to reach out to as many people as I can. I want to continue to inspire so many people, raise awareness on it, because that is what we have to do. We need to get to a greater audience, educate people, sensitize them, bring us closer. Let us look at things that connect us, and let us look at the differences, and in that way we'll be able to respect the differences that we share, and we'll be able to recognize our similarities. And this is my journey, and this is something that I really want to continue to do on. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's wonderful, and I'm sure we'll go deep into that later. But over to you, Mr. Dabo, as a youth leader, youth councillor of Mansakonko Area Council. I'm sure the youths have entrusted you with that power because they believe in your abilities. Do you believe in the youths? I want you to rate for me the participation of the youths from your area in the development of Mansakonko or the country itself at large.
Okay, thank you. Before going to your question, I just want to compliment Rohi. I personally believe one of the smartest people that we have around are people who can imagine issues and write books. So that is something that I cannot do. So when I see someone writes a book, I cannot say, wow, this guy is smart. So thank you so much for that. And I will want to have a read.
All right.
Even though I have some issues with reading, but I want to have a read of this. Okay. Mansakonko Area Council is a council that is like any other local government area in the country. We are exclusively responsible for our LGA. We are responsible, when I say LGA, that means the local government area. So we are responsible for managing the taxpayers' money. We are responsible to make sure projects, initiatives, programs are given to our people at the level of the grassroots. Now we have the central government and we have the local government that is having direct connection with the people at the grassroots, at the local level, at the level of the community, at the level of the village. Now we cannot be able to have the president every day in LRR, but we can always have our area councillors, and we can always have our chairmen, and we can always have our youth councillors that are going to have direct connection, close contact with the taxpayers' money. Now, according to the Local Government Act, when somebody pays $100, he has a tax. 60% should go to that community, or those community people has development projects, as initiative that is going to take care of their livelihood, make sure they have their roads, make sure they have the basic amenities. So going to your question, the position or the responsibility of young people at the level of the local government is huge. First, we are taxpayers.
All right.
Every young person in this country pay tax. So that in itself is a great contribution. And the fact that we are 60% or more than 60% of the population, we contribute to most of the development projects. Most of the initiatives that we have at the level of the regions or at the level of the local government administration are led by the young people. So led by the young people in the sense that you can lead when you are at the back. But what is the participation? When you're looking for employment, when you look for projects, when you look for cleaning exercises, when you go to the markets, when you go to our UNCDF projects that we have recently in our region, what is the participation of young people in that, both boys and girls, is huge. So if you are asking about the participation of LGA or of young people in Mansakonko Area Council, it's like a whole round effect of everything exclusively. We participate in these activities and we make sure we deliver our goals. So positively, and we have a chairman who is very youth oriented. He has a history, or he has a record of working with young people, because he was one time a youth coordinator. He works with NEDI as the head of NEDI. He is so developmentally oriented and youth participatory. So the participation of youth in that LGA is huge, and most of our councillors are young people. So Mr. Barra, I'm going to tell you that if I have a project or an initiative that I want to push at the level of the council meeting, I will tell them, okay, you know, you are all youth, and it's a youth that voted for you. So obviously this will be pushed up. So obviously, clearly we have a lot of initiative that we do. We have a lot of youth participation, and the young people of LRR are very determined. In as much as we have an effect, or we have an issue with the level of decentralization in the country, but our people are up to the task. They want to do it. I wish so many opportunities and initiatives are decentralized, and you will see the impact that people in the local level or people in the rural Gambia can also do.
That's great.
Thank you.
That's something that we are all facing, that the development projects are not centralized. Sorry, they are not decentralized. Everything is focused in this area here, and as that the rural Gambia also need more of those projects. Over to you, Rohi. You wrote a book, and you are also a social worker. I mean, we all know that comes with challenges, and you are going to serve as an inspiration to many people out there, especially female of your kind. Now, we want to know what are some of the challenges that you face on a daily basis, and how do you overcome those challenges? to reach to where you are today, right? You wrote a book and you are even hoping to write more books.
Yeah.
So there are obstacles ahead of you and you have plans to conquer those ones. Tell us about it.
Well, if you are aiming to achieve something, if you're on a journey towards success, I mean, challenges are inevitable. I mean, because they create those defining moments for us.
Absolutely.
Whether you want to stay, retarded, or you choose to move forward. And this wasn't an exception. It took me 9 years before I could publish this book.
Wow.
I actually started writing it at the age of 15, and I published at the age of 24. There are lots of stories that I don't want to actually, talk about here, but then I would just consider them as blessings in disguise. I mean, they were opportunities for me to improve on what I wrote, and they strengthened me to be, ready for any further challenge that could come my way. And so I started writing this book. It was stories that I started writing on. I have like 23 stories, and I decided to develop on this one because I believe there are issues that are in our society. And sometimes someone is waiting out there for someone else to speak up. And if you are able to portray those realities, you have to come up and you speak up so that people could identify themselves with the situation, and then they could trust you enough to share their stories, or they could come forward and share their story with the world, and together we can always make the world a better place to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's wonderful, and I'm sure you are going to inspire a lot of people that are out there. Over to you again, Mr. Dabo. And so the Mansakonko Area Council, the youths, they trust you a lot, and you are their leader. So I want to ask you this question: how much projects have you brought to them, or if you are planning to bring more projects, and what are those types? What are they expecting from you again?
Okay, thank you so much. I think this was a long journey.
Yeah.
It was since, let's say, June 2018. And in 2023, our term of office will be done. So most of the projects that we do, if you look at the structure of our local government area, we are one of the least in terms of revenue base. That is a challenge. And in terms of certain commitment, in order to boost the revenue of local government councils, it's not very forthcoming. Now, but with the mega revenue that we have no excuse. We have to make sure we decentralize issues within our own region. Now, when I say decentralization, I mean like I am from LRR. Now we have so many districts. Some of the districts are very far from the roads. Some of these communities are very far from some of this development. How can we make sure development reaches these people and they get involved? Now, our structure is such a way that we have a regional youth committee, and all these regional youth committees are selected or elected by the district youth committee, where the communities will sit down and select their district youth committee, and those ones will also select their regional youth committee. So I am directly responsive, or I'm directly working with those young people. That's why the communication pattern goes down to the grassroots.
Okay.
Now, let's look at what happens, or what have we done recently. Let's look at the COVID-19. The young people led an initiative of sensitization in all the communities. I mean, exclusively all the communities in LRR. We went to each and every community in LRR to sensitize people about the effect of COVID-19. And because of the COVID-19, which I think it's an excuse, but we initiate, or we have an initiative whereby we train young people in IT skill. That is in collaboration with Lamin, you have this Indeed project whereby young people are trained. We have that initiative for 1 month, and it's exclusively sponsored by the Mansakongo Area Council with support from UK Jara Association and other collaborators. We have that initiative that is ongoing, and we're going to make sure that it happens, because the guy who is responsible for it, Ahmed Kanye, is already ready and is always calling. At a certain point, we have a regional youth committee. At the time of Sekou Dabo, who was the regional youth care person, we have a capacity building workshop. And this capacity building workshop, we select people from the grassroots, from the communities where they don't even think that they'll be going there. We went to the region, we explore some of the government institutions that we have in our region, because we have the Rural Development Institute, we have the CHN. So we explore the Rural Development Institute. I'm going to thank them here, because they tried very well in giving us this school, and we stayed there for almost close to 1 month. We have young people where we train them on leadership, on capacity building, on career development. So most of these people make some career decisions at those juncture. They ask questions, and we stayed with them, like we exclusively in the camp, and we stayed with them for almost more than or close to 1 week, and we trained them on a lot of initiatives. So you can see that that changed so many lives, that make them decide what they want to do. As part of our upcoming projects, we're kind of looking at career development and career choices.
Okay.
Mr. Barra, I believe in decentralization so much so that I want people to impact their own people. If you want to be somebody tomorrow, if you want to do something tomorrow, you must have a foundation.
Exactly.
And your foundation should be your own people. This is something that I worked and I believe in, and it's something that I work on. I'll give you an example. After I went to the Gambia College, after the HTC, they asked us to choose 3 choices about the schools that you want to go and do your teaching practice. That's a norm in the college. Now, I choose my community 3 times. Like the 3 choices that I should choose, any school that I want in the whole country, I choose Bureng 3 times. Now, the reason why I choose that place is because I have been to the place as a student. Okay. I know how much people suffer in order for them to have teachers. I know how much students suffer in order to commute or route a very long distance, and they go, teachers travel, teacher is not yet in there. I went back to my people to make sure I serve the community. That is something that is so precious to me. And that is something that when I see people doing it, I look up to them. And that's something that I always think about this and I can reflect. The school that I've been to, the school that I was educated, and that's the school I serve. And I was able to be posted in the same region in Queen Ala, where I spent for 4 years before going to the university. So you can see really that the impacts or the things that we do for our people stays with them forever. Because whenever I go to that community, I have seen people that have taught. I've seen some of my students in different walks of life, as bankers. Some of them were even my classmates at my undergraduate. Okay. So you can see the impact that you create when you go back to your people, because they don't have it. Some people did not want to go for rural postings because of the facilities, because of the things, the basic amenities that are not decentralized, they are not provided. So when you go and serve them and you are from them, it gives them a real moral boost for some of the communities or some of your brothers for them to copy. So this is something that I feel so proud of. This is something that I feel every other person should look up to, and we see how much we can develop. It doesn't have to come from the government. Sometimes we have to sacrifice. When you sacrifice for your people, you build up something, and when you build that one, it stays with people forever. There are things that you can do for some people and it goes fast, like it goes very fast of them. But when you educate somebody, it stays for them for the rest of their life, because that is a foundation. That is something that they will always remember. So that's something that I look up to.
Great. Yeah. That's incredible. I'm so impressed, Mr. Dabo. Thank you so much. I'm sure your community is proud of you. Break is proud of you.
Oh, come on. No.
is proud of you. They are proud to have you. Viewers, we will take our first commercial break. After the break, we will come back and the show will continue. Please stay with us.
ñu bëgg jàmm ak salaam yéen a moom lii yéen ñu bëgg réew mi jëm kanam suñu réew lay ndamoo suñu réew lay ndamoo suñu réew lay ndamoo Gambia lay ndamoo suñu réew lay ndamoo suñu réew lay ndamoo suñu réew lay ndamoo kon ñu ñaanal ñu ñu jiitu taxawal suñu réew fi faatu ñi ci ñàkk seen bakkan yi laagu jàmm ak salaam moo doon seen kaddu ne ñu fàtte démb liggéey tey ndam suñu réew bu ñu yàlla may joxante loxo ay ñu fay ñoo bokk réew mi gaañ ñi ne ñu tey suñu réew lay ndamoo suñu réew lay ndamoo suñu réew lay ndamoo Gambia lay ndamoo suñu réew lay ndamoo suñu réew lay ndamoo suñu réew lay ndamoo Banjul lay ndamoo me ya tarafa marema pora ya tandila bankoma namiro sitanyola bankola nyanto titanola fo altol tenanola bankola doko ngatanola amul nga am wala badola fok ñu bolo moy aduna ne ñu fàtte démb liggéey tey Ndamo suñu réew bu ñu Yàlla may suñu réew lay ndamoo suñu réew lay ndamoo suñu réew lay ndamoo Gambia lay ndamoo suñu réew lay ndamoo suñu réew lay ndamoo suñu réew lay ndamoo Banjul lay ndamoo Gambia am na ñi fi def jaloore Abdel Kabir Usun Jaay Siñor Salibat Buyate Bature Usun Layon Jaay Maudosi Musa Gompiri Pire Kuta Kinte Niñoy suñu ndanane Konel lendamo Nyundamo Lalo Keva Nitenyo Kondamo Nendamo Suñu réew mi te ñoo ko ndamoo réew maa ngi ni suñu réew maa ngi ni réew maa ngi ni ñoo leen réew maa ngi ni
Digga ñu ne jigéen dafay am buuram Yàlla bindal na ne yow ak moom yaay buuram Cause bés bu nekk mu ngi lay ñaan jàmm Bes bu nekk mu ne baby dundal Bes bu nekk mu lay ñaan jàmm Bes bu nekk
Love was the reason why you made her your wife. Her parents trusted you and that's why they gave their daughter to you. So many men asked her hand in marriage but she chose you. So many friends convinced her not to marry you but she doesn't listen to them. For she truly loves you despite all the ill feeling of her people about you. They see you as a monster and she see you as Jack. Indeed you turned to be a monster. Her worst nightmare. She became slaves and her pain shouldn't care but she still bear. You fill her heart with fear. You are a liar, for you rip off her from joyful life and turn her world into a hell, leaving her uncomfortable as if she is living in a police cell. Your painful and harsh words keep ringing into her ears like a bell. Even she has a problem she can't tell when you are around. Hatred is what she smells.
Can't you see? She gives you love, she gives you all. Can't you see? Teral nala te munyal nala. Can't you see? Lost in thoughts, lost in words. Can't you see the truth? Seen it nurtured, but you tortured. Seen it respect what you expect. Know the concept of love, cause best bu nekk mu ngi lay ñaanal.
Woto mbading ima deda pour ayke la jonti woto kana jube kama ka fenti telephone ya nyini pour ayke dingolu bati woto imanyana ka telimbali ya soko ka kumbondi anyama nyana ka snandi ajandi abalo manka limlimuti ni balon ka tala ka dabulandi je amala nyantoleti. You promise to be loving but you lie. Your responsibilities you don't do it. Yero muloko bes buneka yanko itora hal diko tek meti ak nahar diko joylo do musa kontan saba diko begal yo ya bun for any single mistake she made. You push her to the wall, pin her against the wall, ta ta wah wah on her face, bim bam zim zam on her back, pak pak on her cheek. Ra you bring her down to the ground. Outside you smile, inside you frown. She's supposed to wear your crown, but you let her down because you are a clown. Her happiness is what you drown. Now she looks like a mad woman in town. Anytime she is talking, her voice is thick with sadness. Leader for now, stop the violence. For violence against our mothers, sisters, and our aunties is also corruption.
Banim faluko musota mufomunyo. Foye malonko munyo kanonin sa sabaro. Now bakonko to fighting ako konko. Natata suto put your running konko. She needs love. She need all. She need more. She need.
Welcome back. This is Golden Bee Revolution TV show, and congratulations to Fofana Kanye for that wonderful piece. Stop the violence. Let's respect the woman, especially your wife. Stop maltreating them. We are going to continue with our topic, youths in the lead. We still have Rohi here and Mr. Dabo, a great man from Jara.
Oh no.
You're great, Mr. Dabo. Rohi, you started writing at a very young age, and from that age to now, you still continue doing what you started long time ago. And I've not asked you this question: what inspired you to be a writer and a poet?
Well, I've always loved reading. So I started reading at a tender age. I can remember when I was at primary school, we had a library in our school where I would usually go to during break hours or when there is no teacher in the class. So that is where I developed passion for reading and eventually an interest in writing. So I started writing short poems, but then I wasn't compiling my works. I just write for the fun of it. But when I eventually got to junior school, I decided to compile my works because I want my work to be read out there. I had grown confidence in what I do, and I've also decided that this is something that I'm going to continue with. And every writer wants to be read, and if you want the impact of what you do to be felt, it has to be shared with others. Yes. And so I decided to go ahead and publish my book. But that is where the challenges began, and then it took me 9 years. But during that period, I was able to do a lot more than just this book. I continue writing, sharing with people, and sharing on other platforms. And then I was also lucky to meet people like Modu So, who the founder of the Young Writers Association of the Gambia, and then other aspiring young writers. And then I felt at home because these are people that I share the same dream with, and they make the journey much more comfortable for me. And then the likes of Musaba also joined the journey as when I went to senior secondary school. He was my English teacher, and I was so lucky that he's the writer. Yeah. And we have Dr. Drame. He works at the GRA. He was an author. He used to bring books to me to my house, and that was when I started reading Gambian writers, because initially we were exposed to foreign books. When you go to the library, you only have foreign books to read, and that was what gave me a taste of what Gambian literature is all about, and I felt comfortable and eventually joined the Writers Association of the Gambia. They also gave me platforms to perform. I don't always perform, especially when it comes to poetry, but there are events that they invite me to, and that exposure was good for me, because if people don't realize what you do, I mean, the weight of it cannot be felt. And I can't thank them enough, and I can also thank my parents and my friends that believed in me, because someone has to believe in you. You can believe in yourself, but there are also people that would believe in you and that would push you for it, even when you feel like you can go on and on again. But those people serve as, your support systems, and they keep you going because you believe what you're doing is making an impact, and you have to continue because someone's life could be changed through what you do.
Sure. Yeah. I hope you are going to perform for us before the show ends. Oh my God. All right? You'll do that for us at the end of the show. You will do that for us, of course. Thank you so much. That is incredible. I'm sure many young people out there are going to be inspired by you, and that's great. And of course, congratulations to our Scorpions for yesterday's victory. It was wonderful. Everyone was happy. 3 weeks ago we were there about politics, talking here, going there. But yesterday it's like everybody was celebrating. Yeah, that's wonderful. To you, Mr. Dabo, and I am so much impressed about you, what you are doing for your area, and I'm so many people looking up to you, and what you are doing there is wonderful, and what you started there as you're teaching and choosing your own area to develop there, so that it's not all about government. What I want to ask you is that now, what are you doing to make sure that there is more like you in the area so that it can be what you want it to be?
Oh, that is kind of a very complicated question, but let me give it a hit. Now, naturally, people are having so many differences, and in developing someone, you need to listen to them. You must allow them to think on their own. Now, you train people to think on their own, for them to be creative on their own. Now, let me give an example to not a far distance. By the way, Rohi is from Jara, and she is from LRR. So this is a very good thing. Now, what she is doing, she is thinking on her own. She is inventing things on their own. You have to be innovative in order for you to achieve great things in the future. Now, what we do at the level of the region is we work with young people. These are people who did not even decide what they want to do in the future, in their life. Now, they go to school, they come back, but they did not decide some of the career choices that they want. Now, you help them in determining that, but you don't tell them what they should do. They choose what they want to do. Naturally, you do best on issues or on activities, things that you like. If you like what you're doing, like for example, you are a TV presenter, you like what you are doing, you're going to be very good in it. And I know you are very good in it, that's why you are inviting so many young people in it. Now, we train young people, or we encourage young people for them to make career choice decisions. Now, when you make a career choice decision on your own, which is an activity or a program that you like, the expectation is you are going to do very good there, because you're going to do it with passion. One of the things that we have, one of the problems that we have here, people do things just because you want to compensate someone. You do an issue because you want someone to see you. No, if you do it because that is your passion, you have passion for that activity, you do well. Now, at the level of the region, what we do is okay, by the way, I'm the first nominated youth councillor by the young people. This is an initiative that is done in all the LGAs. All right. Maybe there are some LGAs that they don't have particularly maybe a youth of that age, but they are people that are selected and accepted by young people. Now, we are telling them that we young people are not going to be backbenchers anymore. We are going to be part of the table. We are going to be part of the decision makers. We don't want you to represent us. We want to represent ourselves. Now is the time for people to pick it up. We have to represent ourselves in those platforms. I know my problem. I know how much a young person suffers because I'm a young person. He knows, he is a youth, he knows how much youths are suffering. But if you take somebody who is 50, 60 years to represent me, he may not know my problem. He may not know my problem because he is not in the streets. He is not in the ghettos. He's not listening to those young people. He did not go to the football field to play with young people and know their daily problems. Now, what we're doing right now at a personal level, I want people to look up to that, to think of representing themselves, for young people to be part of the table, to be part of the decision-making process, for us to have people that are going to represent exclusively young people. At the level of the LGA, when I push an initiative at the council meeting, my councillors will be like, oh, some people are going to say, oh, young people, the problem is too much. But what I tell them is, I'm your son. You left your son at home. You are a councillor of 50 years. The expectation is you must have a child who is above 15. So you left that place. You left that child at home. I am talking about that child's interest. So people should look up to that. Our intention is to say is for people to look up to what we do and do it best. We may make mistakes, and obviously we are going to make a lot of mistakes. We are not going to be perfect, but we want people, that should be a learning curve for somebody who is coming up. Look at ways and means in which young people can have a lot of councillors, a lot of National Assembly members, and a lot of youth ministers on that age. Let people have representatives that are of the same age bracket with them, especially young people. Let them be part of the table, and let them be allowed to be creative, innovate, because if young people are allowed to think on their own, they are giving platform for them to innovate. What they can do for this country is unlimited. Because we have the power, we have the energy, we have the resources, and we have the education. There are a lot of young people that are going to the university and the colleges, MDI, GTTI, CHN, REI, all those institutions are taking young people exclusively. If those people are given the platform for them to think and innovate, put up their skills on their own, the platform is given to them, the resources is given to them, this country is going to be developed. The only resources that we have is the human resources, and that is the most important resources. That's why other countries, that's what other countries lack. But how can we make sure we make the best use of that human resources? And that is the youthful population that we have.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I believe one point that you mentioned that is very important, that is career, picking up a career.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's very bad. We have seen students. I personally am a teacher.
Yeah.
I'm still teaching. I've been teaching since 2016.
Good.
Yeah. Some students they will go up to grade 12, not knowing what they are going to do. Imagine, they will go up to grade 12 and graduate. Now they will not have an idea about what they want to do in life. Some will say, my mom wants me to be a nurse. You are an art student. Someone said, my mom want me to be a journalist. I want to be a lawyer. Oh, okay, let me wait until my results are out.
Yeah.
Let me see what I have. No. Sometimes I tend to blame
what
the educational system.
my idea about that is the level of consistency. Now, our education system, we have this 633 system. Like six years in the primary school, we have 3 years in the junior school, and we have 3 years in the senior school. Now, in those streams, we have different streams. We have the science stream, we have the technical stream, we have the arts, and we have the commerce stream. Now, consistency in the sense, or what I'm talking about, is for people to make career choice decisions after grade 9. Now, if you are a commerce student, there is a pattern of subjects that you are leaning on. If you are a science student, there is a pattern. Now, when you want to go to college, you want to do maybe you want to do SRN, that is State Enrolled Nursing. Yeah. They have a qualification of telling you 5 credits, including English and maths and science, some sciences. Yeah. That is, they are training you. From your grade 9, you decide that you want to be a medical practitioner. Now you do science. You want to be a business person. You want to be an entrepreneur that we lack and that we need to work on. You do commerce. You want to be a state-owned journalist. You want to be a journalist. You want to have public speaking, like House is. You have that vocal skills. People are born with certain skills, and we parents should be able to observe those skills in their kids at a very young age. All right. You buy a toy for your kid, and you see your kid dismantling the toy and fixing it back. He has a technical skill. How can we be observant as parents and we decide or we guide our kids to that level or to that line? So that is the passion that they will going to build up when they are kids. So, but the thing is, sometimes it doesn't all go as the way we plan it. You may be doing arts, and all of a sudden you turn to have an interest in nursing because you went to the hospital and you get inspired by the work of the nurses. And you're a teacher, I'm a teacher, and we kind of have this tendency I never want to be a teacher.
Yes.
But what we do as teachers is the foundation. We built all of these people to be who they are, and it's something that I'm so proud of you that you're doing, and every other teacher out there and all other civil servants or public servants that are serving this country, they are doing great. But the service that they are doing is not the pay that is going to make them content. What is going to make them content is for you to see the investment that you have done. You invest your time and energy in human resource development, and you develop that one, and you see that human resource developed, and you see them doing something for themselves and their parents. That is very, very, very comforting. Yeah.
That's it. It's not easy, but we want to see changes on those.
Yeah, sure.
Off to you, Rohi, and I want to talk about a goal that you set and what did you do to achieve it. I want you to speak to the young people. Maybe a girl sitting out there, I want to be a writer, and somebody's looking at the person that you are useless, or you want to be a poet, you are useless. But these are things that you can do with other works, like a lot of all the works that you are doing. You still have that mind. You still have that skill to speak to the people. I think that is very important. So I want you to speak to the public, especially the girl child that are trying to give themselves that discouragement of not following their passion, their goals.
Yeah, I think the first thing that you need to do is to believe in yourself.
Good.
That is very, very fundamental on every step that you choose to walk on. So believe in yourself and write. You have to write. But before you become a writer, you should be a good reader. Be a reader of diverse books and subjects, so that you can acquaint yourself with the different subjects. And then you can choose on what you want to write on. Because we have so many topics that we want to talk about. And especially now that the young people are emerging, we have so many young writers coming up now, so many poets coming up, and they are talking about controversial issues. They talk about politics, they talk about issues affecting women, they talked about violence and all those things. Yes, these things have been there before, but then it was the old writers. It was old writers. But now we have young people. The youth are now taking the lead. And our voices are being heard.
And that's what we want.
Yeah, that is what we want. So if you are an aspiring writer out there, and you also want to join in the race, you also want to make a difference, you can come in. You can do this. You need to have a wider and deeper state of being. You need to be ready to accept criticisms. They will come. They might not be necessary at all times, but these are things that helps you to be clear on what you do and for your work to be more effective. And there's also something really, very important, which is passion. Whatever that you do, passion is fundamental in it. Because if there comes a time wherein you are faced with a challenge, it is this passion that will push you forward. Because you have a reason for doing it. And the reason is because I love it. So if you love something, you give it your best, no matter what happens. You're always strong in the face of adversity. And this is what you also put forward, passion. And there's something really satisfying in having passion for whatever that you do. In whatever field that you find yourself in whatever path that you find yourself in, on the surface of the earth, whatever career path that you choose, be passionate about it. And it's something that is really going to be helpful. Because, let me tell you, what the path to success is not always smooth.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Challenges will come.
That doesn't come easy.
It comes from people that are close to you. It comes from people that you least expect it from. And that is because you are human, you're not perfect. You are trying to grow. You're trying to develop yourself. You are trying to develop artists. You are trying to bring meaningful development to your nation and even go beyond that. So you should be ready. You should be prepared for all these things. If you want to greatness, be prepared to shed tears, to fall down, and then you rise up again. That is what makes you stronger. I have been there. But like I said before, these are defining moments for me. I choose to move on. And even if I should find myself in those situations again, I would move on. So I'll tell the young people that if they find themselves in a situation that they feel they can't go on any longer, or if they fall down, let them rise up stronger and pursue their dreams. If it is something that you want, go in for it. Be passionate about it. Be ready for the challenges. You're stronger than all of them. Outshine them. That is the life. You work for everything and be prepared for whatever sets your soul on fire.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm sure your book speaks about your passion, because 9 years I will give up. 9 years. 9 years. It took you 9 years to finish this book, and you don't give up. People should listen to you very well. I think that's very wonderful. We are almost at the end of the show, but we will still continue with some 2 questions to you, Mr. Dabo.
Yes.
The president was inaugurated, and before that, at Basse, in his speech, they were doing victory celebration, and he made a mention that he is dedicating his 5 years to youth and women. This new 5 years, he's going to dedicate that to youth and women. And I want to ask you your personal opinion on that. What do you expect? What do you expect from the president in these 5 years, if that tenure is actually for youth and women? What did you want him to do for the youth and women of this country?
Good. Ambitious plan. And with such statement, we expect and we foresee a very successful 5 years. If it is not a politician or a political statement.
Political statement, yeah.
Now we have to look at this and dissect it in different aspects. When the head of state, who is the naturally the leader of the country, said such a statement, young people should be inspired. Yeah, we should be hopeful.
Yeah.
But how are we going to achieve this? What are the plans in place? There must be plans in place. And how do you want to execute those plans? How do you want somebody who is living in the farthest place in Kiang, which is almost have communities or has communities that is almost close to 50 kilometers off the road, have or sees him or herself in that development? How? Now, if you look at the government as a structure or as an institution, we have a different way of empowering people. And you should empower everybody, but you should empower young people and women. Those ones are very much fundamental. And if you look at the population of this country, we have almost 60-something%. So if you said that you win, or the IEC said you win, or the Gambians believe that you win, you must believe that young people voted for you. Now, if you said those ones are the development, or your 5 years is for them, it's for them to see themselves in those development activities. Not like backbenchers, not like they need to follow you with visuals, not like they need to be dominant. They need to be inside. Let it first, let it first start with his party selecting majority of young people as National Assembly members candidates. Let it start with that. When it starts with him selecting people, and when I say young people, we're talking about people between 15 to 35. Let him select those people to be his political party candidates for National Assembly election. First step. Now we're going to see the reflection of what he said. 2, let him look at how many businesses that he's going to empower that is owned by the young people. Let him empower your program, Mr. Barra. Let him empower this program, because you're having youth in the lead. Young people are coming here and they're talking. How many sponsors do you have? How many businesses are sponsoring this program? How many government institutions are sponsoring this program? Let them come and sponsor this program. Let young people talk to young people in the communities and let them hear them. Let them interact. Let him make sure when someone sees you outside, will know, okay, Mr. Barra is a journalist and is a TV presenter in Star TV and is doing this and this and this for their community. How many people are you going to inspire for them to enter into the journalism sector? More. Let this thing start. We need to see actions. The time of us hearing politicians talking to us by words should be long gone. Let us see how much are they going to use those words and make sure. You know, governments are very good in planning now. If you see some of the word documents that we have, the policies, the regulations, the activities, the programs, the initiatives, the scenarios, but how much is implemented? Let him look at his procurement authority. Let him look at how many local businesses are going to be empowered. Let him look at how many youth entrepreneurs are going to be given government projects. Let him look at his state functions, the catering, the serving of the guests, the people that are given vehicles to escort those people. Let it be young people. There are things that are very fundamental when you empower businesses, local businesses. You empower young people. And even if you're going to give your projects and initiative to foreign businesses, but make sure they have a number of percentage of young people that they employ. And let this employment not be just an employment. Let them be, you know, that is what we call unemployment and underemployment. You don't have a job, you are employed. But you have a job, and a job that you're doing to the best of your ability, but you cannot be able to provide your daily meal, you are underemployed. So you're going to be paid like $5,000 every month. How is it going to do for you? You have a house that you're going to rent for $1,000. You have your mom at home. You have your siblings. You have your wife. You have your social life. What is $5,000 going to do for you?
No, absolutely.
How many companies are here and they are paying young people less than that? Let me give businesses. Let the procurement specialists will tell you, and they're going to tell you we dissect 30% or 50% of government projects are all given to government institutions or local institutions or youth entrepreneurs. You want to make uniform for soldiers? Let it be done by Gambian tailors, young people. You want to do catering? Let it be done by Gambian businesses.
Then you are empowering the youth.
You are empowering the youth, and make sure they are actively involved. They have to tell you that we are empowered. It doesn't have to be you telling that I'm going to empower you, or you feeling that you empowering them, or somebody telling you that you are empowering them. The youths have to tell you you are empowering me. It has to come from us. It has to come from them, not somebody in the middle, because the person who is giving you the information may not give you the right information. The person who is feeding you as your resource person may not be the right source. Let them stand in front of you and you see that young people in this institution, young people in this region, young people in this company is doing this and this and this and this for himself and for the people. People not need to be employable. But there are a lot of people who have very good brains in this country. But how are you empowering them in order for them to make sure those brains are turned into skills, and those skills are turned into initiatives, and those initiatives are turned into businesses whereby they can employ themselves and employ other people? So if the president said next 5 years is going to be 5 years for young people, we want to see it practically. And when we see it practically, we're going to tell him thank you for telling us, thank you for doing what you said. And you see, when we say thank you for doing what you said, that's just a compliment. But we know, come on, that is his responsibility, by the way. That's the reason why he's voted in. He's voted in to serve the people. Without the votes, you're not going to be there. And it's only the people that vote. So people that vote for you, they give you their power, they give you their word, they give you their responsibility to serve them, to deliver service. This service doesn't need to be just like maybe an imagination. It has to be practical. It has to be seen. It has to impact the life and the livelihood of the people. The basic amenities must be provided. Give us water. Give us electricity. Make sure the welders in the communities have electricity for them to do welding. Make sure the tailors have electricity for them to do their tailoring. Make sure the people that are working in the gardens have water source, irrigation facilities, farming, gardening. Let it be provided. Then we know that it's really meant for the youths. So if it is for the youths, it has to impact the life and the livelihood of the youths. Yeah,
that's wonderful. And up to you, Rohi, beyond your book and personal questions, what do you expect in the 5 years from the president?
Well, I expect a better space for the youths and women. I expect a better Gambia, because looking backwards to the last 2 months, and we have seen youth taking the lead and women. These are active participants in politics, and I believe the reason why they came out is because they want a better space. They want a better space to grow, a better space to live, to be able to nurture their potentials. So if people put you in power, they have a trust in you. It is a big trust. They have this belief that you can come down to them. You are like a servant to the people. They have the belief that you can resolve their issues, even not everything, but giving them the support and involving them. That inclusiveness alone is something big. If you want to make an impact in the life of someone, they have to be part of that, the decision-making process. They know themselves better. They know themselves better than you. So they could be able to pinpoint their problems better than you. So they should be there to tell you, this is our problem, and we believe this is what we want to be done with your guidance. And if you listen to them, I believe there could be a lot of changes that we could do. Now I've seen youth doing extremely well. Like the work I do, I'm with youths like every day that are involved in skill work. And I see the kind of passion, the energy in those people. I've seen that they've started to realize that they could make it here in the Gambia. That is their belief. The government and every other individual that could support them to come forward and make them realize the truth in what they believe in, because they really can make it here. If you learn a skill here right now, I mean, that skill stays with you. If you go somewhere tomorrow, you will be able to utilize that. You can make a life from that skill that you've acquired, and you could be able to help your family back home. We've seen a great number of youths that have embarked on this backway journey. Why do they want that? They're in search of greener pasture. Now opportunities are coming up for these youths to be able to make it here in the country. We still need more. I mean, even if you train people, they acquire skill, and at the end of the day, there are no market linkages. Where would they work? Having the skill is one thing, but having the finance to be able to utilize the skill, to be able to, make something out of yourself and also impact your communities. Because we have youths coming from different regions coming to learn a skill, or whether they stay in their respective regions to learn a skill. You can have everyone on board, but the number of few people that you are able to train will be able to serve an inspiration to the greater number of youth that we have in our various communities. And that is how it starts. So the government has a big role to play. You have the trust of the people, and that is why the government is there. So the government should ensure that the people, they don't fail the people. And us, the youth also, let us take responsibility of ourselves. Let us take responsibility of the things that we choose to do. Let us take responsibility of our words and actions. It is very, very, very important. We all have a significant role to play. And if you want change, it has to start with you as an individual. Because if you are able to change yourself, the people that are close to you will also reflect that changes. And if it goes on that way, a greater number of us will have that change with us. And that is how we have the greater change that we want. So let us not lose focus of our individual roles that goes with responsibilities in making this country a better place for ourselves, for everyone else, and every other person that will be brought in this, our smiling coast.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure having you two here. And that will bring us to the end of this show. Of course, I will thank you and thank you again for honoring our invitation. And thank you and keep it up. What you are doing to inspire young people, and of course, Mr. Davo, thank you so much, the man from Jeddah. So you people are proud of you.
Thank you, thank you.
I'm proud of you, and it's a pleasure meeting you today, both of you for the first time. This is wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
Viewers, that brings us to the end of the show. We thank you all for watching. Thank to you all the Golden Bee team that are behind this, and of course our camera crew and the studio technicians in the Star TV here. We thank you all. Next week, inshallah, we are going to continue with this same topic with different young people. Every Tuesday, catch us here on Star TV. Until then, have a good day.